Ross, thank you very much for coming along to the IAEM meeting today. It's been a fantastic 2-day meeting, and this morning in our plenary session you spoke to us about how you can do a presentation, how you can do it all that much better. Can you give me 3 take-home points, because I know you like your rule of threes?
That's a challenge. 3 points. Okay.
Or more if you like.
We're doing it wrong, so we need to change. That's number one.
This is your elevator pitch, Ross.
Our elevator pitch is that the majority of presentations fail because of science. Come to my presentation, I'll show you how to change. So the point is that the science of why presentations fail is clear. The psychological literature is full of it. We haven't read it. That doesn't mean that our presentations aren't going to fail then. And so what I share with people is some of the science behind why our presentations fail and how to make them better, because I think everyone has a really important message to share, whether it's research or teaching or business cases. And sadly that fails, not because we don't care, but because of the nature of presentations.
And you know, when I first encountered your work, I kind of said, this is an awful lot of work, this is difficult. It pushed me to look inside myself, and then after a couple of weeks, or it was longer than that, a switch flipped, and I realized it's actually not about the information, it's the way I deliver it, and it is about the information too, but it's about the story that I want to tell to illustrate the message that I'm trying to deliver, and that is such a liberating step, I find, and you know, that's your message.
Yes, the information on its own convinces no one. That's what a textbook is. It just sits there. We have to, as a presenter, interpret that information for people and convince them that what we have to say is important. The example I use is Ignaz Semmelweis. He became effectively the father of modern infection control because he understood what was killing mothers and babies in his obstetric unit. But he couldn't convince people of that and died insane 15 years later.
Do you feel that's somewhere where that direction that you're heading in, you know, when you have to...
insane. I think that a lot of people think that just by listing information, people will change their practice. By showing them the 6 different ways of doing something, that things will change. It's not about simply information, but about persuasion and convincing people and challenging them to think. And so the idea I'm working with now is Bloom's taxonomy of learning, is that at the very bottom is knowledge. And the use of knowledge, the development of that, and the application of that is what we require from a presenter to help learners move beyond simply data retention. Virtually every single presentation fails because we can't even retain the knowledge that's delivered because there's so much that's there. So we're at the bottom and actually falling off the taxonomy rather than making any progress.
So Ross, I think a lot of the audience and people have come up to me and they've messaged me and tweeted me and said, you know, that guy was amazing. Where can I find out a little bit more about this? Where would you direct? What do people do in a short, simple way to find out more about this information?
Okay, so there is my website. There are other websites are available, as the BBC would say. So that's, if you put in #HTDAP, how to do a presentation, that will get you to my website as the first hit on Google. But read the psychological literature, read anything by Gar Reynolds or Nancy Duarte or Jean-Luc Dumont. There are lots of people sharing ideas, and the fact that we all see good presentations, why don't we mimic those and we'll improve, because we're mimicking the bad ones and getting worse. So you just copy what you see as good practice, what you like, and that will start to change things.
Yeah, and I think if we put our own spin on them, we are creative people. There's no need to dampen it down through PowerPoint or through, you know, a data dump. There's no need to do that. We are creative people by instinct. So
not in the slightest. I firmly believe that most people can deliver a great presentation. The problem is they use the filter of PowerPoint, and that just becomes a vast sea anchor that drags them down, and that's why it fails. Not because they don't care, but because the technique they're using is flawed.
And just for people that are looking at this, on Ross's website there's a drop-down menu that shows how to do different types of presentations. So whether it's a scientific presentation, whether it's an interview type one or a Pechakucha type presentation, there's lots of different scope because there are different types of presentations. I find that very handy.
So there's There should be information there for every question anyone watching this has about presentations. Just go into the search and see if it's there. If it's not, message me, I'll write an answer and try and explain what I think. It's not that I am the wisdom on this, it's just I think about it all the time. It's a bit sad, I appreciate, but that's what I want to do, is share the thinking, which is a combination of educational knowledge, of advertising and persuasion.
And I think what we've encountered at this conference over the last 2 days is a bunch of people that are passionate. They've curated the knowledge and they've shared it with the group of people that have attended the conference. So I think we've been very fortunate to be in attendance, to hear from you, to hear from some of the ultrasound experts and some of the people that we've heard from today.
Definitely. It's a wonderful example of what education can be. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're delighted. Thank you.